Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Foreign Test Science Podcast. I'm Marisha. Today is episode 3. This is also my first solo episode, so I'm really happy to be here. I'm also really nervous because setting this up took so long. I have spent 3 of my mornings trying to figure it out, and I think I got the basics down. So, well, thanks for being here. And yeah, okay. So today I wanted to talk about something that I think is pretty prevalent with our podcast's themes of being personal and talking about personal experience and, taking into account what it feels like to grow up and be a teenager and be a child and stuff like that. And so I wanted to take a more personal take on those topics, and today I'm going to show you guys the time where I allowed myself to be a child in one way. For 6 years, 6 years, from 2017 to now 2023, I wrote journals. They weren't anything special. I have some here. There's a lot more, but most of them were it wasn't serious journaling because I started when I was 7. It was mostly just writing the most obscene shit I could think of and just going with the flow. And somehow I managed to do it for 6 years, which is pretty exciting because I get to look back on my past self and regret it. So it's really exciting. And today I thought we would share some of my favorite childhood experiences. And put my personal life on blast, so that's fun. Okay, so if I were to ask you guys, what the best part about being a child is, what would you guys say? I know what I would say. I think the best part about being a child is simply just not caring, It just, children are annoying. No, actually, that's another thing that I want to talk about. Children nowadays, I'm not even that old, but I have this cousin who's in 4th grade, and I wrote this when I was in 4th grade, okay? And that cousin is so annoying. And I just look at him there was no way I was that annoying in 4th grade. And if I was, I'm sorry. Because, whoa, it's there's no way I was that tiny. Sometimes I look at the 5th graders in our class and I see how they are, and part of me is oh, I was exactly like that in 5th grade, and then another part of me is whoo, I hope I was not like that. Anyway, so like I said, I think the best part about being a child is having a crush. Ooh, spicy. Back then, having a love life didn't mean having 17 boyfriends and, but back then, having a love life just meant liking someone. Literally, that was the pinnacle of love, of your life. If you like someone, girl, you're set for life, basically. Oh. Okay, but so one time my friends were asking me to tell me who I liked because I liked this really weird guy from my class in 4th grade. I was 10, by the way, and this is what I wrote. I'm not going to use real names because that's the one rule of our podcast, no naming names. So we're going to call her Sarah. She's not really my friend anymore, so I can call her whatever I want. So Sarah wanted me to tell who my crush is, but I promised I'd say it next class. But to make it a little bit challenging, I gave her a little clue. And then I wrote this clue down. I remember this. I wrote it down in cursive on a piece of paper, and I gave it to her. A crush is someone who matches your personality perfect. That's wrong grammar. Look for mine and you'll find it. And then I wrote, and believe me, Sarah, well, let's say her IQ isn't that great. Girl, that's just mean. And what does IQ have to do with finding out this stupid ass clue you gave her? And, another thing that I wrote, okay, this was 11/3/2020. Okay, so I know, well, if you've been reading my journals, then you know that there's nothing very juicy or exciting in my life, and everything is kind of rushed. Well, it's true. I never thought my journal to be like Nikki Maxwell, but here's something that turned the tables. And the next few pages is me describing my non-existent love life. And it's funny because you guys remember Dork Diaries, right? I used to love Dork Diaries. I feel like every single tween read Dork Diaries. But I remember one time I was reading the 9th Dork Diaries book, and Nikki Maxwell, the main girl, got her own reality TV show. Like, girl, you were going good with all the awkward teen stuff and the trying to fit in and the crush. I get that. No teenager like that would have their own TV show, and I liked those. But like, if you're gonna try to make it relatable, don't give her a TV show at 16. What the fuck? No one. And then from that day on, I was so upset. I was like, ugh, Nikki Maxwell, she has a TV show. I don't, girl, stop. You know, I'm sorry. I like the Dork Diaries. It just sometimes just get some new material. You know. What about? Actually, not. Never mind. Okay. And then I had this thing where I never would mention the guy I liked in my journals, which is like kind of fucked up because, you know, it's my journal. No one else would ever read this. So that, well, I'm reading it to you guys now, but like, I was so scared of mentioning his name. He's like Bloody Mary or something. This was on 16/3/2020. So when, or if I mention my crush's name, I know y'all might barf your guts out. So let me state out a few reasons why I like him. I'm justifying it to myself. Number 1, we're sporty. I was not sporty. I went through an I'm not like other girls phase, and the only thing that I had going for me is I was like kind of into sports. I still am, but it was like, oh, I'm into sports and that makes me like so much better than you. It's really not that big of a deal. Number 2, love football. I never could play football. I still don't. I've never played football. I've played football I think 5 times in my life when I was like 8 years old. Reminds me of my brother. That's kind of weird. Number 4, literally the only person in my class who has a normal name. And then this is my personal favorite. Number 5. Now, I don't know if I said this before, but I am not into guys who are nice. Who would want a nice guy? Girl, you're so cool. Cool. Considering that most of the guys in my class now, well, they're fine. But this guy in particular turned out to be a raging asshole. So I'm pretty sure 10-year-old Arisha's definition of bad guy and my definition of bad guy now is completely different. Girl, stop. It's nice to see nothing has changed. Another thing that I wanted to touch on about my journal is the fact of not liking yourself. Towards the end of this journal, it was May, and I went through this sort of bout of self-hatred. Not a bout, it was more of a, I don't want to call it a phase because I don't think it was a phase, because I think it was what catapulted all of my insecurities and now, you know. But the reason why I say it was a phase is I think it was the first time I actually felt like this. It was in COVID. You guys remember COVID. Everyone was locked in for like 2 years, at least here. And I just had this, in my brain, I took it on that no one liked me, which was not true. I had people who liked me. I had friends. But I used to think that the reason why I used to think that they didn't like me because I was ugly, which I know that's like, I don't know. And I took it in my head that I had to become skinnier, I had to become prettier. And I used to like obsess over my eating. And I was 11 back then, which I'm not saying that that age is relevant, because obviously you can deal with mental suffering at any age. But I actually have a picture here. You probably can't see it, but I in a tiny box I kept I kept food. I had bread in there, and I had cake, like a biscuit in there, and I used to try and make the contents. It was a tiny box. It was like this big. I used to try and make the contents of that box last the entire week. And I remember one time I just couldn't do it anymore, and I let my mom feed me rice and fish. But when I was eating a normal healthy meal, I remember feeling so devastated that I was not able to maintain my physique. And that's like kind of upsetting. But then a couple of years later, I went to, this was in 2020. The next year, 2021, I went to another state, and I met one of my really old friends, and he used to work out, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm trying to work out too. I'm trying to go on a diet. And then he was like, listen, Arisha, you don't have to do that now. Like, even your body, because I was 11, even I know like what you're trying to do, but it's not going to work because your body hasn't developed the proper muscles for you to develop when you start working out, or something like that. And I don't know why, but that really stuck with me, because like obviously, like I said, insecurity has nothing to do with age, but I just feel like you have to know when to start actually taking care of yourself in that way. But it's also really sad, because I used to track down all of the things I ate, and this was another thing that I wanted to say is like, wait, no, I'll touch on that later. Never mind. Yeah, this is actually a really cute journal. Oh, by the way, to all of my classmates watching, I wrote about all of you guys. I wrote about every single one of my classmates in 4th grade. I think we had like 26 students in like my class. I wrote about all of you guys, and I'm not gonna read it out because, maybe you have to pay to see me do that. So I wanted to do a dramatic closing, but that didn't really work out. Okay. Another thing that I actually read all of my journals in preparation for this episode, and another thing that I found out that was really funny is in 4th grade, we had this girl who I did not like. Well, not just me, everyone didn't like. We wouldn't. And that, I regret that, because, you shouldn't be mean to people no matter what they do. And I wasn't exactly mean to her, but I just did not like her. Okay, so I'm sorry to say this, but you guys know that scene in Mean Girls where Katie is like to Janet, it's not my problem, you're like obsessed with me? While I was reading this, that was what I thought of. Because this girl, who I quote unquote did not like, I was, what age was I when I wrote this? Oh yeah, I was 10. I was 10, yeah. I was 10 when I wrote this. Because, this girl who I quote unquote hated was literally, half of this journal is just her. I was so obsessed. And another thing that I wanted to show you guys. And I wrote page upon page about what she did, why I didn't like her, what she said to me. And I was like, reading that back, I'm like kind of friends with her now. Reading this back, I'm like, girl, what the fuck? Because, don't hate people. Just don't. It's like, wow. I wish I would stop bitching about other people and write about myself more. And another thing that I did is I used to think that like being quote unquote savage and tough and like having the tough girl persona was really cool. So I wrote down a bunch of insults that I copied from the internet in my journal. Do you guys want to listen to this? I don't think you do. You might die of cringe. Okay. And I used to imagine that the girl I hated would say these to me, would insult me, just so I could clap back. And I used to memorize these and shit. And I wrote number 1, you're ugly. Answer, girl, please, my hair straightener is hotter than you. Probably not the best to say that to someone who hasn't hit puberty. Number 2, loser. Answer, I could eat alphabet soup and shoot out a better insult. If you've heard these before, that's because they're unoriginal. 3, you're ugly. Good, I was trying to look like you. A bitch who says, you won't believe what happened yesterday. Answer, sorry if I looked interested. I'm not. And reading these now, it's really funny because I never use these on anyone ever, because I was just like under the impression that everyone would come out to get me and they'd be like, oh, Risha, you suck ass. And then I'd be like, sorry, hun. I can't think of a good clapback to that. Sorry, hun. I'm a human, not a mirror. That's the only thing I remember from these. I don't think that even works in that context. Shit. I am going to actually start using these now in honor of my 10-year-old self. I bet she would be proud. She wouldn't. She would hate it. Anyway, okay, another thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and I think this is a pretty prevalent thing, so I guess some of you guys can take notes. This, oh, you can't see it. This, can you see what that is? This is my June 2020 to October 2020 album. Journal. I was starting 5th grade in this journal, and it was online because it was the COVID period. Okay, my journals in the COVID period are absolutely... Dude, I just had a heart attack. I thought I wasn't recording. My journals in the COVID period are absolutely insane. And let me tell you guys why. If you saw the cover, this is the Gryffindor symbol from Harry Potter, which took me so long to do, and I was so proud of it, and I still am, because it was like a really big step for me drawing something like this. Anyway, but here's the thing, right? I wanted to get Gryffindor so bad that I took the Sorting Hat quiz like literally a million times. I took it and then I deleted my account and then signed back in and then I took it again. And then I kept doing that. And then one time I was like, I kept doing that. And then every time I got all houses. Okay, I got Slytherin once, I got Ravenclaw once. And I used to tailor my answers just so I could get Gryffindor right. Okay? And then I was like, oh yeah, I'm a Gryffindor. And I wouldn't let anyone else get Gryffindor because I was like, nah, I can only be the only Gryffindor, which is like kind of fucked up, you know? But then this year I took the Sorting Hat quiz like 3 times, right? And guess what? I didn't even get Gryffindor. I got Slytherin. Okay, I got Slytherin 3 times without tailoring my answers. And I was like, what the hell? What the hell? Was this all fake then? Huh? Well, it was fake, but still. But like, it's just kind of sad knowing that this probably is not my fictional house character. Whatever. Okay, the point is, I used to be really obsessed with like shaping my personality, and I think my journals during the COVID period really reflect that. Like, you know how personality should be something that you yourself cultivate, and your personality seeps through all aspects of your life, and I think that personality is really important in a person because it's like it's literally who you are. That is your personality. And I used to think that like if I could just copy the personality of someone I liked, then everything would be okay. Example, I used to watch this anime, and in that anime, one of the main characters was this really, like, quote-unquote attractive guy who was like super strong and tough, and he was like had this whole ass arc where he redeemed himself. And I remember thinking in my mind that if I could just be like that character, if I could, be like that, be mean but tough and strong and just misunderstood, then like I would be showering in love and admiration. But spoiler alert, that's not how it works. Us humans are not characters. Characters, you have the opportunity to understand them, to really look at them, and besides, pretty privilege is real, okay? No matter how bad a character is, if they're hot, everyone's after them. Common knowledge. But like, I don't know, in my little brain, I could not get out of the fact that if I was just pretty, if I had the personality of that character, I would be showering in love. Spoiler alert, it did not work out. I was so mean to my entire, like, my family and friends, and I was surprised when it wasn't working. And I wanted to say that, oh no, you guys misunderstand me. I'm actually not like this. I'm timid and shy. But like, that doesn't work, okay? People are not always gonna see you as who you want to be seen as, okay? They're gonna see you as what you present to them. No two people see you the same way. So like, don't be mean. That's the prospect. And like, don't think that having the personality or copying the personality of something else will make you feel better. In fact, I was so obsessed with characterization that this is another one of my journals. My last 2020 journal, November to December 2020. And I had a zodiac phase. I feel like everyone had a zodiac phase. I hope everyone did, because I do not want to feel alone in this. And I wrote about every single zodiac sign, and I was obsessed with like the zodiac traits, and I was obsessed with being like, oh yeah, I'm a fire sign. That means I'm strong and reckless and mean. I was so obsessed with being tough. Like, girl, fragility is okay, I'm not like other girls. Literally took over my life. Let's read my zodiac sign traits. I don't believe in this. If you believe in astrology, that's fine. I think it's really beautiful. But like, I don't believe in this. Aries traits. Aries, being a fire sign, are brave and independent. I wrote independent. Aries are known for being determined, confident, and enthusiastic. Represented by the ram, they are very short-tempered and mostly angry. Here's the thing, right? I wasn't exactly short-tempered, but I took the vibe that I was just so I could like be like, yeah, she's such an Aries. Aries are dead loyal and will fight for their loved ones. Who wouldn't fight for their loved ones? They possess leadership qualities and can be aggressive when criticized or hurt. Yeah, suck on that. In fact, I wrote the Aries thing last because I wanted to take time and really feel my sign. Girl, the stars cannot tell you who you're supposed to be. That's up to you. Okay, to wrap it up, this is already getting really long, and I don't want you guys to listen to a really long episode. I think our first one was like 16 minutes. But I have to read this out to you. This was written, I didn't date it, but it was written somewhere in June 2020. Oh, so it's like almost exactly 3 years ago. Sometimes how old was I? 11. Sometimes the little things are the one that hurt us the most. We seem strong. We want to live up to people's expectations so much. But yet, do people see only what we want them to see? People might be a tough person on the outside, a leader, someone worthy to be here. But inside, a deep sea of thoughts and traits are locked away deep inside. Those parts consist of many things: guilt, feeling, personal traits like timid and shy. You don't want others to see that part of you. You fear they would think of you for what you truly are. But we must not let our negative qualities affect us at all. We won't be pushed down by the fears of our mind, but to be led by the dreams of your heart. We can't let the fears stop us from being who you are, for you're not who you want to be, but who you need to be. Constantly a negative comment can sink into your heart and lie there for months, but a positive can only do so much. While a positive, it will only push you half a step forward, while a positive will push you 5 steps back. That literally makes no sense. We must make sure to burn this hate along with the beautiful flame that burns deep in your heart. We are who we are, and that is who you need to be. Unknown. Okay, a lot to unpack here. I had no idea that I wrote this. At the start of 2021, I was reading through all my journals, and I found this, and I was like, what the fuck? When did I write that? So I guess as soon as I wrote it, I forgot about it. Secondly, I wrote, I don't know if you can see it, at the bottom, I wrote, yeah, you probably can't see it. I wrote / written by unknown. Who do I think I'm fooling? It's my journal. Who the hell would write this? It makes no sense. And it's like so funny because I'm pretty sure what happened. No, I empathize with 11-year-old Arisha for her suffering. But I bet some rando on the street probably just called me the most passive insult, called me a dunderhead, and I lost my shit, and then I went home and instantly wrote this long ass paragraph. This makes, oh, and also on the opposite side, there's a stylized writing of Scars to Your Beautiful by Alessia Cara. That was like one of my favorite songs. Anyway, that's beautiful. Oh, guess what? There are more insults in this. Maybe you should eat makeup so you can be pretty on the inside too. What else do I have? Dude, I never use, oh my god, look at these. Sad and beautiful quotes. I tell myself that I don't need anyone. But the truth is no one needs me. You're just like snow. Beautiful, but cold. Telling a depressed person to be happy is like telling a cancer patient to treat themselves. Depression is like living in a body that fights to survive with a mind that fights to die. They say damaged people are the most dangerous because they survive. These are my new Instagram reel ideas. Oh, darling, go buy your personality. Oh my god, there's a fucking poem in here. Roses are red, violets are blue. God made me great, but what happened to you? Who is listening to that? Okay, no. I love her. At least she's trying. She's a little confused, but she's got the spirit. And she turned out relatively fine. Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up in a bit, but I wanted to show you guys another thing that I highlighted, which I cannot find right now. Anyway, while I'm looking for it, let's talk. Thanks for watching. It means a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I had a lot more things that I wanted to talk about, but it's gonna get too long, and I do not want this episode to be too long. I actually, like, in the midst of making this episode, I got a lot of new ideas of stuff to talk about, and I want my episodes to be a bit more like in depth. Like, sure, we're gonna talk about funny things and shit on my past self, but we're also going to talk about nice, beautiful things and more relevant issues in, teenage and school life. Oh, also another thing that I wanted to say is I have a lot of the journals that I only showed you, there were only a few. I have a ton more. So if anyone wants to see a part 2 where I talk about more of my problems and we all laugh at who I was, then sure, let me know. And yeah, that's basically it. This is my current journal. I want to show it off because I'm kind of proud of it. It's 3 journals smashed together. And it's like sort of the love of my life. It's much more informative and recent, obviously, which means I'm not going to read from it because we cannot laugh at me. Okay, well, see you guys tomorrow. If you guys have, not tomorrow, see you guys when I post next. If you guys have any suggestions, please let me know. I would really love that. And if you guys have any things that you want me to talk about, if you want Afra to talk about, if you want us to talk about it together, please let us know. And if you do enjoy these solo episodes, Afra mentioned it on her video, but if you do, like with the camera and everything, then let us know. It would be nice. And yeah, see you guys. Bye bye.